triangles similar. How do you know? Since we're trying to see if these two triangles are similar, it might be helpful to first review the triangle similarity postulates. In other words, the different ways we can show that two triangles are similar. One way we can show that two triangles are similar is if we have two pairs of congruent angles. If we have two pairs of congruent angles, then we can show that these two triangles are similar by the angle-angle triangle similarity postulate. Or, let's say we have two triangles, and if we have two pairs of proportional sides and the included angles are congruent, so we had two pairs of proportional sides and the included angles were congruent, then these two triangles would be similar by the side-angle-side triangle similarity postulate. Or, let's say we had two triangles, and we had all three pairs of sides proportional. If all three pairs of sides are proportional, then these two triangles are similar by the side-side-side triangle similarity postulate. So let's take a look at what we're given. Here, we have two triangles. In this triangle, we're given two of the angle measures. In this triangle, we're also given two of the angle measures. Well, we don't know anything about the side lengths. That means we're going to try to show that these two triangles are similar by the angle-angle triangle similarity postulate. That means we need two pairs of congruent angles. So let's take a look. Here, we have an angle that has a measure of 43 degrees. Here, we also have an angle that has a measure of 43 degrees. So these two angles are congruent. Here, we have an angle that has a measure of 83 degrees. Here, we have an angle that has a measure of 54 degrees. Those two angles are not congruent. So does that mean that these two triangles are not similar? We'll take a look. We're missing an angle measure in this triangle. We're also missing an angle measure in this triangle. So we need to find those missing angle measures, and then we can check again. So let's go ahead and find those missing angle measures. To do that, we can use the triangle sum theorem. We know the angles in this triangle add up to 180 degrees. So the measure of angle M, which is 43 degrees, plus the measure of angle P, which is 83 degrees, plus the measure of angle N, which we don't know, is equal to 180 degrees. 43 degrees plus 83 degrees is equal to 126 degrees. So 126 degrees plus the measure of angle N is equal to 180 degrees. If we subtract 126 degrees from both sides, we get the measure of angle N is equal to 54 degrees. Now let's go ahead and find the missing angle measure in this triangle. The measure of angle J, which is 54 degrees, plus the measure of angle H, which is 43 degrees, plus the measure of angle G, which we don't know yet, is equal to 180 degrees. 54 degrees plus 43 degrees is equal to 97 degrees. So 97 degrees plus the measure of angle G is equal to 180 degrees. If we subtract 97 degrees from both sides, we get that the measure of angle G is equal to 83 degrees. So let's go ahead and mark these on our diagram. We know the measure of angle N is equal to 54 degrees. We know the measure of angle G is equal to 83 degrees. Now let's take a look. The measure of angle M is 43 degrees. The measure of angle H is also 43 degrees. Those two angles are congruent. The measure of angle N is 54 degrees. The measure of angle J is also 54 degrees. These two angles are also congruent. We have two pairs of congruent angles. And take a look at our third pair of angles. 83 degrees and 83 degrees. Those angles are also congruent. So we have three pairs of congruent angles. We're going to say that these two triangles are similar by the angle-angle triangle similarity postulate. So we can say by the angle-angle triangle similarity postulate that these two triangles are in fact similar. We know the measure of angle M is equal to the measure of angle H. So it means angle M is congruent to angle H. And we know the measure of angle N is equal to the measure of angle J. So angle N is congruent to angle J. So by the angle-angle triangle similarity postulate, we can say that triangle NP is similar to triangle HJG. So now we've shown that these two triangles are similar, and they were similar by the angle-angle triangle similarity postulate.